I just wanted to share one thing our president said once after, I think once we had rolled out ChangeEngine, she referred to it as the unsung hero of the year, essentially, that it really just has made a world of difference for our company and our communication. We sent out 123,000 communications. Of those, 163 reoccurring automations. And if you kind of do the math of how long it would take to type each of those individual emails, it comes out to about 235 plus hours saved as a result. So on average, we estimated that it's about 5.5 hours a day of manual work that we're no longer doing, which definitely is a significant reduction, lift for the HR team, for the general managers, for payroll and benefits.
Sarah Hammond. I am the VP of HR at Olympia Hospitality, and I've been there about 4 years now.
My name is Abigail Flynn. I am the Senior Human Resources Manager at Olympia, and I've been with the company almost 22 years at this point now.
So when I first joined Olympia in 2021, we had about half the properties we have now. We have 44 properties in 15 states, about 2,200 employees now. But at that time, we had about half that. And one of the challenges even then with that number of properties was communicating with all of the different properties and employees. One of my first tasks was figuring out how we could communicate better, how we could engage employees. A lot of times property-based employees are like, oh, I work for Hilton Garden Inn, or I work for Marriott, right? But actually you work for Olympia, right? So they weren't even aware that Olympia is the company they work for. So we really wanted to impart marketing, right? Name recognition, but also employee engagement. And so thankfully, when Abby came on board, I tasked her with finding a solution to that.
My role in HR is interesting because I come from the hotel level. So I've been a general manager. So I've lived who's Olympia? And, part of what's always been important to me as a leader is imparting the culture and really sharing how excellent and awesome a company Olympia is. And, we chose to partner with ChangeEngine really to streamline that communication. So it didn't really get bottlenecked at the GM level. They already have so much responsibility, and trying to then it's almost sometimes like a game of telephone too. You're, regurgitating information. And I think it really presented an opportunity to alleviate some burden on the GM's part to communicate and free up their time. So really to streamline and automate key employee communications that are universally important. So we really focused on what do all team members need to understand and know about Olympia, and what to expect from us, what we expect from them. And ChangeEngine really presented us that opportunity to not only help build out those communications, but streamline the process for them as well.
When I first came on board, it was like a group email, like a blind CC, just not effective and not certainly time consuming. And so this has saved us so many hours, countless hours, in not having to compile those lists and get the content out there. But also ChangeEngine makes it look better.
One of the things we do is we have a segment for each individual hotel. We have segments to reach all department heads, maybe higher level management versus middle level management. And then on the property level as well, we've really listened to some of our HR leaders and GMs that feel like they know their team and their team responds better to text message, for example, versus email. The personal email, work email breakdown is really a result of what people put in their payroll file. So we do ask our department head leaders to have their work email just to ensure they are getting the reminders that are being sent. And then most of our employees are using their personal emails, which is how we reach them. I think the other side is it also helps us live into our value of accountability, because with ChangeEngine, we can also see open rates and track if messages were received, which, is not meant to micromanage anybody, but also to ensure that we understand what messages are reaching people, what resonates. It helps us decide what direction to go in our communications, such as perhaps changing how we communicate, as in, like, is this hotel in need more of a SMS messaging based system, or do they respond to email? So it does provide us also really some data on how we're reaching our people as well. One standout campaign really was our Olympia C.A.R.E.S, which really is a custom recovery friendly workplace program. It has an open rate of about 72%, which is actually above our internal communications average. I think really it was born out of a simple, powerful belief that I have always felt Olympia has owned, which is that, we genuinely support the whole person behind the job title, and trying to continue to create an environment where everyone can thrive. So really, it was inspired by team members who were navigating challenges relating to substance use, mental health, or personal hardship. And there was an opportunity there. It wasn't a topic that was discussed in the workplace. And then Olympia C.A.R.E.S as a program is really an employee resource group that ChangeEngine has really helped support our messaging. They've helped us design a lot of moments. We provide regular updates on meetings. And it really helps us get out that communication to the entire body. The nice thing about the messages that go out through ChangeEngine is because they don't come from a generic or no reply email. They come from a personal email or our HR email, or a variety of different things, is people can respond to that and we get the responses. So we did get a lot of, deeply meaningful responses of how proud people were of our company. Team members have shared personal stories, reached out for support, and really expressed gratitude for a culture that prioritizes people over productivity. It starts off with just a day one welcome email that just kind of introduces people to Olympia, lets them know how excited we are to have them on board. There's a series. We have 5 core values. They receive one email a day that introduces them into those values, what they look like, how they come to life in our everyday work. My favorite, I think, that we've added is like a day 7 email that's like, wow, you've received a lot of information in the first 7 days, and it brings people back to what I consider kind of our intranet, and where, if you're going to remember one thing in the first 30 days, like, remember this website, this is where all these resources live, to kind of, it's about understanding the employee journey and everything that's being thrown at them, and ensuring that they know where to go back to should they not remember some of this information. They receive a couple of our very important policies, being our harassment, discrimination, bullying policy, as well as our quick work rules and conduct. So they receive both of those standalone policies, and then a link to a Google form to say that they've received them. We have 30, 60, 90-day check-ins that go to the employee's manager, direct manager, that says, hey, Abby is about to hit her 30 days. Time for a little check-in. I really like those messages because it helps give it doesn't just tell the manager to do something, it gives them the material to go along with it. So here are a few questions you might want to check in with the employee about. So it helps, remind them what they should be doing. The employees also get a notice on their 90 days that says, hey, time to do your 90-day review, so that they're also coming prepared with questions, that it's, these processes should be interactive and meant to ensure that the employee has a true understanding of what's expected of them. It's about the continuation of engaging both manager and employee to say, hey, let's not just put you on the floor and you're hired, have fun. Let's partner together on this journey. And here's the important pieces of knowledge you'll need. There is a benefits piece as well that goes out that's automated now. Our payroll and benefits manager would send the GMs and or bookkeepers, if the property was large enough to have a bookkeeper, an email saying, this person, this person, this person are all eligible for benefits this month. Please have them complete it before X date. And then chances are, right when that date came, Amy would have to send another email saying, hey, this person hasn't done the benefits yet. And so there was a lot of, I think, double checking. ChangeEngine has really allowed us to, I think, put some of the power back in the employees' hands of their own journey and have them be responsible for their benefits and their benefit selections, which has been far more productive. So yeah, it was a lot of Excel spreadsheets and emails, and then checking on emails, and then probably some more checking on emails depending on which property. So it definitely has helped broaden our ability to communicate.
In the offboarding part of it also, we've automated exit interviews, and for us that has provided so much more feedback than what we had been doing before, which was nothing. So this has really been really a great tool for me to share with the properties that feedback.
Yeah, I actually just had our quarter 2 business review. And so in quarter 2 alone, we sent out 123,000 communications. Of those, 163 like reoccurring automations. And if you kind of do the math of how long it would take to type each of those individual emails, it comes out to about 235 plus hours saved as a result. So on average, we estimated that it's about 5.5 hours a day of manual work that we're no longer doing, which definitely is a significant reduction, lift for the HR team, for the general managers, for payroll and benefits.
I'm also really proud of our open rates. I think we've struck a good balance of not sending too many emails, right, versus too much communication versus not enough, right? So I think we have high open rates because we send meaningful information, right? And it's really targeted. So I think that's really important. I'm really proud of that part.
Our onboarding series for our new hires has an 85% open rate, which I think really helps pave the path for a lot of candid information that our employees need to be successful and feel connected to the company, which ultimately I think builds retention rates for us. I actually also use the platform to recognize properties for example, today we're sending out a 1-year anniversary for one of our hotels that just hit that milestone. So it's a way to reach all employees as part of that special project. But our automations are a little bit twofold. So the employee gets a birthday message. And one of the things that I like the most about it is it's personalized from the GM of the property. So again, it's not a generic message. It's made out directly to them. It comes directly from the GM so that it's personalized. Same thing with the anniversary. The anniversary message has a signed certificate from our president, which I think is pretty awesome as well. And then on top of that, the direct manager gets notification in advance of both of those events that says, hey, Sarah's birthday is coming up. Might I say, take time to write a card. Again, it gives some feedback to the manager of how they can best utilize this information. Back in the day, I would have to print out a report. It would have 12 months on it. It would have everybody's birthday. And then it would be up to me to remember to go back and check. And, I would see things like, oh, we're just going to celebrate all of the birthdays that occur in April, for example. And now it is much more personalized. And since all of the employees feed automatically into the ChangeEngine database, it means we don't have to add people's birthdays in. We don't have to add anniversaries. It all feeds seamlessly from system to system. So it ensures that also Joe isn't getting a birthday card and Steve, isn't, which definitely has happened. So it has made for a great sense of consistency. Not only are we reminding people, but also we're celebrating that employee as well. Those messages have a 97% open rate on our department heads part. The reminder messages specifically is the statistic that I pulled out. So they're heavily used as a way to kind of engage and recognize our team members.
Prior to ChangeEngine, we We didn't actually track performance reviews, right? We had a 90-day review sort of that was supposed to happen, right? But it almost never happened. And from an HR perspective, we don't have yearly performance reviews. So that is the most important review to have on paper and uploaded into our system, right? And so with these automatic reminders, we've been able to really hone in on making sure that those are done. And so that's been a really useful tool from an HR perspective when it comes to employee relations.
There's a bit of an accountability piece there because both the employee gets a message that says you should be receiving your 90-day review, and then the department head does as well. So there's, those two things go hand in hand. The change in day-to-day is now I have an additional partner. I have an additional resource that helps me produce communications that look nice, sound nice, are in the one of the things we haven't touched on is also using the voice of who's presenting the information. So being able to take messaging from our president and ensure that the communications that come out from her, maybe they weren't written necessarily, but that they're in the language that she would use. So it is more personalized. And so it's just nice to have, and it's just an extension of our HR team, I would say. I think I'd encourage them to, start simple, start with intention. Like, what are the key moments in the employee journey for their organization that are kind of universal, that could be automated? Taking advantage of the partnership with ChangeEngine because they helped us see the things that we could automate, be it what they've done for other companies they brought to us, or just in our meetings talking about different opportunities. We didn't take all of them, but we took the ones that were meaningful to us. I think what I came up with is not using automated communications just for logistics, but really for culture building, really for bringing to life the culture that exists at the top and how we live that. I think that's really, just tied into the messages that you send, but really making it about your values and using ChangeEngine as an enhancement of that culture building process. I just wanted to share one thing our president said once after, I think once we had rolled out ChangeEngine, she referred to it as the unsung hero of the year, essentially, that it really just has made a world of difference for our company and our communication.